The greatest moment I've seen. This is history being written. Amazing.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the Footy Fetish Show, where the fetish is real and the footy is soccer. Today, Booty is occupied with the festivities of Mardi Gras. He is riding in Thoth Float 29B on the neutral ground side. If you are out there on the parade routes, he is throwing Footy Fetish koozies. I wish I had one with me. I'd share it with you. On the podcast tonight, we've got Fabrice Twally, our PSG pundit. Welcome back to the show, Fabrice. How are you?
Doing good, brother. Always happy to be back and talk footy with you, man. Highlight of my weekend so far.
Yeah, man. It's always a pleasure talking footy. One of the things I always bring back about you on the podcast is your ability to go back in time and like pull clips and like pull memories from like 10, 20, sometimes 30 years ago that I have never seen. Like you did it today. Like you just sent me a clip in my text message that I was like, I've never seen this before. From the 1990, was it 2 or 8? Which World Cup was that?
98. That one was 98.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've watched a lot in my time, and I mean, sometimes they're just sitting in the back of my head, and like something you showed today just reminded me of that. And yeah, it's always fun to just reminisce on these random things.
Absolutely.
One day we'll be 80-something reminiscing about the good old days.
That's right. Hopefully we can get paid the big bucks for it. So,
Would love to.
One day, man. One day that hopefully happens. I would love that to happen. So today, Twally and I are going to be reviewing the 4 Champions League round of 16 leg 1 games from last week. And then we'll also do a preview for the 4 games of round of 16 leg 1 for next week. Let's just get into it with the first game, which was AC Milan versus Tottenham. This one, got to give a shout out to the boys at home, man. Pulling one off 1-0. Little bit of luck involved with the goal, but, we'll take it. Shout out to Rafael Leao. He had a fantastic game getting up and down that left-handed side. And also got to give a shout out to Stefano Pioli for trusting this young center back. He's a 21-year-old German center back, Malik Chow. This guy has totally flipped AC Milan on their heads as far as their ability to defend and keep clean sheets, frankly. If you go and look at AC Milan's latest fixtures, I think we had like 15 goals in like 3 or 4 games. It's been absolutely abysmal. And lately, we've been winning and getting clean sheets. So if you look at the last 6 games, the first 3 we lost 4-0, 5-2, 1-0. And then the next 3 we won 1-0. It's been a huge turnaround, and I'm going to credit it all to Malik Chow.
Where'd you guys find him? I haven't really watched much of AC so far, but yeah, what's the lowdown on this guy?
He came from Schalke, and over the summer we were trying to get Sven Botman, and Newcastle came in, had more money. They not only were going to pay Lille more, but they were also going to give him a higher wage, and it was like, we just can't compete. So Maldini quickly had a plan B. This was his plan B. With the injury of Fikayo Tomori, we needed to lean on him, not to mention we have not been able to defend with a back 4. As I was just saying.
Yeah, I remember you guys were playing in a 4 with Tomori and Kalulu.
That's right. And so for the AC Milan-Torino game, I believe this was the game that we switched to a 3-back line, and we started Malik Chow. And it's been phenomenal ever since. Our ability to defend, our ability to rotate. You also got to give a shout-out to Pierre Kalulu because he is a hybrid outside back as well as center back. They initially signed him as an outside right back to be a backup of Calabria, but then in our Scudetto-winning season, we lost Simon Kjaer, and Kalulu flipped in, and it was like, holy shit, he can do this. So it's been really interesting to see how Pioli is able to morph the formation around the players that we have.
Would you say that 3-4-2-1 is now your kind of standard formation?
Yes, 100%.
I've seen that come back a lot, whether it's in the 3-4-2-1 or 3-4-1-2. And the thing that changes for you is like, yeah, you kind of like change the system. You add a center back, but what's more important is like it gives you those wing backs. And like I feel like that gives you more control on both sides of the play if you can kind of make that work. I mean, someone like Theo Hernandez is like the perfect kind of guy that you would benefit you as a wing back more so than a left back. So it looks, I mean, that's just on paper, me looking at it now, but I can already imagine, having seen him play for France, what kind of stuff he does for you
You,
when he's a wing back.
you see, and you hit the nail on the head there. This all helps Theo Hernandez become a more attacking player down that left side, and takes away some of his defensive responsibility. It also assists Alexis Salamakis, who we signed as like a hybrid player. He's a right back / right wing, so now this gives him the freedom to do both of it. He doesn't have to be a really good winger. He doesn't have to be a really good right back. He can now do both. And he, as you can see here, AC Milan versus Torino, he was the man of the match. This formation has been incredible. And something else that's really been interesting is Benacer has been injured. So we've had to rely on Krunic, who has been, he's like one of those grunts. He'll run the entire game and he'll just make the hard tackles. And that's what you need in the midfield. So
that's really what you need next to Tonali.
yeah, and Krunic can kind of be the Gattuso, and Tonali can then flip his role to kind of a Pirlo type of role. He can be the one that distributes.
See what you did there with a little history lesson.
Hey, man, I learned from the best, Wally. Learn from the best, man. So it's been really great. Against Tottenham, it was a 3-back system versus a 3-back system, and I think other than Tottenham's front three, we beat them man for man all around the pitch. And Leao, I could argue, is one that gave us a tip against Tottenham. You know, if you look at this back three, Romero, I would argue Romero and Kjaer are about on the same level. Dyer, I don't rate that well. And Langley, I don't rate him either. So if we go around the field, I mean, player for player, I think we stacked up better. And fortunately, Tottenham are going through a rough period with injuries. A new coach.
The midfield is decimated.
Not a new coach, but Conte, I believe, is on his way out. Or
he had surgery or something. Yeah, I remember hearing he was like his assistant was in. Yeah, I was also just thinking about what the wing back setup probably helped Leao kind of come more into his own. He's got someone that's not as far deep defending over there. For the overlaps, that probably gives him more space to come on the inside on his right. Yeah, like I only saw the game from the highlights, but yeah, I can already imagine that if it's something that already worked for a few games, that's something you could probably build like the back of your season on.
Definitely. And you had mentioned this before the podcast, and I wanted to touch on it. This now allows Charles de Ketelaere more freedom to be a creative player, because we can't figure out what his best position is, or at least up until this point. Is he a center forward? Is he a center attacking mid? Is he a right winger? We don't know. But when you put him in as this kind of hybrid midfield forward line, it allows him that freedom to drop down and pick up a pass or stay high up the field and be that forward, in the front of the line. So I think moving forward, this will also help Charles de Ketelaere grow as a player. We often forget how much time it took Tonali, how much time it took Leao to really get situated and like find their position on the team. It took Tonali an entire season. Most people don't remember his first season was subpar. Leao as well. He maybe had a couple of goals. Once they got situated and figured out this is my role, they were off to the races. And I think we have to do the same thing for Charles de Ketelaere moving forward. So
the good thing is you have a bunch of young guys, and I think everyone in the setup all the way up to the board knows that it's going to take him time. Yeah. Like the next step now is when you're looking at Napoli, you're looking at Inter. I mean, Juve is a little down, but you need to give the coach and the players that he's going to need in the next few seasons. It's already good enough to start, but you're going to have to start looking at who's going to be our 9 coming next season. Right. Who's going to be our, I don't know, another center back probably, or you're going to need these positions to be kind of locked up. You're going to need someone probably in the midfield, I'm guessing. So it's what's going to define your next couple of seasons is going to be the moves that they make in this coming window, probably to just and I guess seeing whether guys like Leao are going to stay and extend, or go somewhere else, that'll probably tell you a lot about what your team is building in the future.
Definitely. I couldn't agree more. And I really hope that we can keep Brahim Diaz. I know he's got a steep uh, loan with obligation to buy in his clause. I think it's like 22 mil, and that's a lot for us. If you look at relatively speaking, asking 20 mil for Brahim Diaz is a lot. There's also Serginho Dest. I believe he's got like a 22 million obligation to buy in his clause. So it's going to be interesting to see what the management does here. But we could not have switched this formation around in any better of a timing heading into Champions League. But really glad that we were able to get these 3 points. We now go away to London to face Tottenham at their stadium in the second leg.
In a good position, I'd say.
Yes.
And the thing is, Tottenham they've had like you said, a lot of injury concerns. So
Yeah.
You already have a leg up. It's up to you guys to just not take 2 goals over there,
Right.
which I think AC, and based on the description you've been given on like your run on defense, if you're only conceding 1 or none and you're already up a goal, all you really need is to kind of like basically lock shop. You have the speed merchants up top with Leao to be able to counter pretty hard.
Yep.
Tottenham has not been looking good in the league. They've been losing to teams like Leicester. I think I already had you guys kind of going through in this leg. My concern will be getting your key guys back before the next team that you get, because I think Tottenham is easily takeable, but there's still a lot of big sharks left in the Champions League.
So I will tell you, the rumors going around is that Mike Maignan will be back for the second leg. But I got to be honest, I'd be okay not forcing him back. Tatarusanu has really found a resurgence with this new formation. But that being said, I would love to have him back. I would love to have Tomori back, and I'd love to have Benacer back, as well as the big man, Big Zlatan. He is also due to be back. So we should be rolling pretty deep going into their stadium for this.
If you guys are playing around the same time as the other games, it's probably the second week of March?
March 7th, I believe. March 7th or 8th,
Okay.
I think, is something like that, first week.
You still got a couple league weekends to get whoever is back to fitness somehow. We're playing, so yeah, that's not bad.
The rumor is, at least on Transfer Market, I went and checked this recently, is Mike Maignan will be back on March 7th. That's the predicted date of return, and we play on March 8th. So it's going to be interesting to see if he is back starting, or if they maybe rotate him in on the weekend previously.
God,
it's tight.
It's tough to make that call.
Yeah,
because it's not the same as like an outfield player with like another 11 guys. Like your goalie, he's got to be
sharp.
Reflexes got to be there. Yeah, everything's got to be on 100%.
Right.
That's tough.
You
might just be better off leaving it to the guy that's been, and then wait until the next phase of the Champions League to see if Maignan gets a couple games under his belt, how he does against like a Lecce or something.
That's right. And I couldn't agree more. I think you don't force it, because it would be really great to have Mike healthy for the rest of the season, then force him back early and risk extending his injury, because it's a calf injury.
So, and how many games has Tatarusanu played with that back line? I'm sure he's got
at least 10 to 12.
That's fine. Then, yeah, I think Pioli could probably trust him. And the Champions League isn't really a priority this season, is it? I mean,
I think it is. I think we want to go far, because it's easy money. The farther you go, the more money you make. And we could take any dollar that we can right now.
But you're still in the running in the league.
Barely. I think we're in like top 5. I don't think we're back. I think we knocked ourselves out with a serious run of form. If I remember correctly, last time we were in 6th place. It was pretty bad. We really fell. Okay, so we're back in 4th. But we had 3 losses in a row.
Yeah, that's a long way.
That was rough, man. That was rough. Like 3 in a row.
I didn't realize they had that big a lead.
We fell all the way to 6th place. It was bad.
Napoli can't fumble this one, can they?
No
way.
The only way they fumble is if a significant injury. But like, you lose Osimhen, you got Raspadori, you got Simone. You lose Kvaratskhelia, you got the Mexican Chucky. They got depth. They got the players. I don't think they're too concerned about this.
I don't know how that team has only lost once.
I love it. I'm here for it. I want to see it.
It's insane.
I want to see it because then it'll kind of replicate the EPL in that there's new winners. This will be the third new team to win the Serie A in 3 years. I want to see that.
We don't know that that's going to happen in the EPL though.
I think we're gonna. Hey, I'm being a non-EPL fan, being totally unbiased, and having teams that I like players on. Arsenal is the strongest looking team. They're just consistently against everybody from top of the table to bottom of the table. They compete. We just saw Man City tie.
The tough thing is like
Arsenal's
City
not doing that.
City was just fucking around. I think Arsenal, the problem is like squad depth. We don't have a bench.
No, you don't.
So if like, God forbid, Saka goes down, that's
not bad.
We already saw what Partey going down does.
I don't think that's bad because y'all have Martinelli. You have backups. There was another guy y'all just signed. I can't remember his name. What's that?
Or Jorginho.
Yeah.
Trossard?
No, like an attacking forward, like a winger type of player.
Yeah, that's Trossard.
Yeah, so you have depth. They're young. They're not EPL experienced, but as far as continuing this on, you also I think y'all got knocked out of the FA Cup, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about that as another competition.
That's true.
I have a lot of faith in y'all after watching, a couple of games of y'all's this season. I think y'all will be back in Champions League, top of the table type of thing towards the future. So
Champions League for sure. I think like the worry is like these guys are young. They've never been in a title run. They're all like the pressure is a lot when you got, a team like City with the bench that they have.
For sure.
You have Foden and freaking Gundogan on the bench, and the firepower that they can bring off the bench is a little different. But I think this team, if they could build like a little run after a few games that were kind of rough for them, it'll be all right.
You know who I think, and I hate to derail the Champions League, but I'm enjoying this conversation. Manchester United are going to be very sneaky this season.
Dude,
They are sneakily creeping up the table. It's very interesting to watch.
You watched the highlights from today?
I got to catch some of the game today, so I did watch it. They are fun. Rashford has turned into that player we all have been waiting to see.
I think this is the hottest form he's been on in a very, very long time. Look at the gap to fourth. Look at their gap to fourth. I mean, it's basically a 3-horse race, I'd say.
Yeah, without a doubt.
5 points? That's nothing.
It's crazy that Tottenham are considered to be in like poor form, and they're in fourth place in the EPL.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. That's funny to me. But
it's tough because like Newcastle was also kind of there with them, and they've also kind of hit like a little bit of a rut. So those two teams are kind of close in there. Newcastle usually doesn't concede a ton. United though, I think it might just be down to Rashford to carry them, but like they're just clicking. I think the pickup of Casemiro is just what they needed. I mean, I would say they overpaid for them like crazy.
Oh, for sure.
A guy that's already in his 30s.
For sure. Overpaid, for sure. I really think you got to give a lot of credit to Erik ten Hag. And as much as I hate to agree to this, I think him staying firm on getting Ronaldo out of the club was the best thing they could have done for
That's what they
United.
needed.
They needed to get him out.
He's like a ball magnet. Anytime you have him on the field, like it needs to go to him, which is kind of interesting since we're probably about to talk about PSG in a second here. But watching the game today, watching Messi, the guy was a ghost for like 95 minutes. He was, and then he just pulled something out of his ass in the last second. But like he could go through a whole game without really like touching the ball just because there's someone else around. But I think if Ronaldo's on the field, he has to see action. He has to get the ball. He has to take the free kick. He has to take the pens.
But it's funny you say that. I feel like the players around him pass to him as well because they're like, "You're fucking Ronaldo. I'm gonna pass you the ball."
Yeah,
I can. You can
sometimes
score.
That's not what the play needs.
Yeah, and it's. Yeah. I think it's not just like him going, "Pass me the fucking ball." It's like, You're my teammate. I know you can score goals. Here's the ball.
It's like it's the shadow.
of
It's the shadow of like the guy with the 5 Ballon d'Or. It's that like aura.
Yeah.
That, like Rashford, I'm sure for all of the great that he's probably a better player than Ronaldo is right now. Mm-hmm. But because he was a kid when Ronaldo was doing all this stuff at Man U, he's gonna be on the field like I'm on the field with my hero, fucking I need to
Yeah.
instead of taking that goal, I want to set him up, or instead of being selfish, I want to be a team player just so Ronaldo has, and that might just fuck up a play in the moment.
Right.
But
I'm glad you brought
yeah,
up that point about PSG because, funny enough, that's the next team we're talking about.
hey,
Twali, why don't you break down this one for us? Start it off. What happened here?
oof. All right, so this game, I think we went into it looking rough. No lie, just lost what 2 or 3 on the bounce against one was a derby game against Marseille that we just looked fucking ass ugly against. We got dumped on by Monaco. Mbappe was hurt. It was looking bad, and everyone was kind of predicting 2-0, 3-1 Bayern. I was quietly kind of hoping for a draw.
I feel
I
like
wasn't even going to predict a win, if I'm honest. I think it was asked in Foodie's kind of podcast thing, like little survey, and I said 2-1 for PSG, but I was thinking a draw at the very best. So for Bayern's wastefulness, I'm kind of lucky that the scoreline is what it was. I think they were the better team. They dominated. They started just hot.
yeah.
The only thing that probably saved us is the fact that they had Choupo-Moting as a striker. I think if Lewandowski was still there, that could have been 3
Yeah,
easily.
for sure.
They're still the scarier team. Guys like Musiala, Savage, Coman. Of course, Coman had to score against us. It's his old team.
Right. Second time now, right? Second time.
Yeah. I think the spots where we might have kind of had the advantage is Pavard is a terrible center back, even worse than he is a right back. So once Mbappe came on, there was giving him kind of some.
Oh yeah.
But the trouble that we had, and I was watching to French commentary a couple times on there, was we had no depth. They knew that Neymar is kind of quick, but he's no Mbappe.
No.
He stretches the field, and we were lucky that he could play 30 minutes at the end there, and you could see in this cameo at the end when he came on, just the difference.
Oh.
And Bayern was sitting back, they were worried about him taking over the back.
Yep,
He had
yep.
some goals. He had one that was just barely offside off of Nuno Mendes. So maybe my thought of a draw was actually kind of close, but it was tough to watch in the first half. But the second half to end gave me a little bit of hope.
I couldn't agree more. I was going to say the same thing. If you look at the ratings
Yeah.
kind of cooled off at the end for PSG, and there was also a moment where PSG took over and were the better team. And it was clearly when Mbappe took the field, the pace of PSG spiked up, and Pavard just couldn't hang with him. It was very clear. One thing I wanted to ask you was, why did PSG decide to go with a back four this game?
They've been playing in the back four most recently.
Really? Okay.
Kimpembe went down with his injury, and I think between him getting hurt, and I think there was a period there where Ramos was kind of down, so it was Danilo. So he had to switch from a 3-back to a 4, and basically just play with 2 center backs. That's kind of what you get when you start the season with 3 real center backs and you want to play 3 at the back. Someone's going to get hurt,
right.
And then you either have to play a youngster like El Shaddai who makes mistakes, or you have to play Danilo as center back. So Kimpembe is back now. I'm not sure if that means he's going to try the 3-4-2-1 again, or 1-2, whatever that formation was. But we needed to get Skriniar in this window. That's something that they needed to fucking absolutely do and did not do. And the problem is with the 3 at the front that we have, who are mind blowing going forward, but don't give you much coming back to defend. You need that security, and with our midfield being so ass, it was just it's yeah.
Renato Sanchez would have been a great player to have against Bayern, especially because he's played with them. He knows what kind of style they play, and he's a physical monster. He's a freak. Physicality, speed, strength, all of it. What's his deal right now? Is he due to come back.
He's injured. I think he did his hamstring again or something.
I'm kind of glad we didn't get him. I know.
Yeah, no, you're glad you didn't get him for real, dude. We're the only team that could pay that much money for a guy and like get him as he's injured, have him recover just to get hurt again. Like you could check his injury report and it's like,
it's awful.
It's just
it's abysmal, dude.
It's awful.
It's fucking abysmal. If you count the number of games he's missed.
Look, that's in one season right there.
Yeah.
A doctor, muscle injury, bruise, hamstring injury.
6, 10, 14. He's already missed 14 games this season.
In half a season.
Half a season. That's God, I'd be so upset if I had paid all this money for him. He has to change the way that he plays.
Ramos was like that in his first season. I think the guy only played like 4 or 5 games in his first season too, and the guy was getting paid like $10 million a season. It's crazy. You would, dude. If this was like any other business, you'd be like, you're fucking nuts. You paying a guy $10 million to play 4 games for you.
Right. Totally agree.
But I think on the Bayern PSG game, Bayern would be disappointed to only go away with only a 1-goal lead because I was honestly worried with the firepower that they apart from Choupo-Moting, the rest of those guys, Sane, Musiala, Gnabry, Muller, these guys are ridiculous. And for PSG didn't lose a single game in their group games.
Yeah.
The only reason they got dumped with Bayern is because Benfica just scored more goals against like the bottom team, and you end up in second place, tied on points, tied on everything, but just goal difference, and you let Bayern. That's just the kind of shit you get.
Yep. Yeah. Shout out to Donnarumma who didn't have an awful game.
Oh my god, yeah, he's
been awful, but this game was not bad for him. He actually had a decent rating. I'm looking at.
Except for the goal that just went right under him. I don't know if you remember seeing the goal. He they put it right by his foot, and he went to like dive to like parry it away, but it's kind of I'm trying to think of what time it's like 52nd or maybe 60th or something.
Hold on. He
tried to get low to like parry it, but he was just slow getting to it.
I have to be careful streaming video because it'll just shut down our Facebook. Oh, it was right here. This was it.
There you go. Look at that. He was just a little slow getting down to it, but you could blame the guys on the cross being a little too lazy. But I feel like you kind of get that with your foot, maybe.
That's a foot save. Yep, 100%.
Yeah. It's just a little too close to try and dive on. Mbappe was really unlucky with the 1-1 that was offside right at the end there. It was barely offside.
Joining us on the stream, I think that's Stat Boy. Actually, I was coming up with a new name for you, Matt. Instead of Stat Boy, Matt Boy. It was
Cash Boy?
No, it was I think it was I had a really good name. I should have texted Booty. It was like Matty Stats. That's what it was. Matty Stats.
There you go. I like it.
Yeah, I like that one. I like that better than Matt Boy, Stat Boy. So we were just going through the PSG Bayern. We just reviewed the AC Milan Tottenham game. Twali was just talking about Donnarumma's kind of blunder, I guess, of a save.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on the goal that Bayern scored? Or just in general, what are your thoughts on Bayern for this game?
I mean, I thought they were the stronger game. We talked about it last week that PSG had some injuries and Mbappe ended up coming on and Messi played, but I thought Bayern looked like the better team. I mean, it could have easily been more, but it was a fair result for both teams. I mean, it was close, but like you said, with all the injuries and kind of dysfunction going on at PSG, at home, you'd like to win that matchup, but that's actually, I guess, not the worst result. Is Neymar expected to miss that game now?
I think so.
Most likely, yeah.
The return, that's going to be tough. Sis's birthday.
Fucking ankle, dude.
Sis's birthday. I mean, I believe that he's hurt, but my God, it's just what a coincidence.
What a coincidence, man. You know he hates that. If he had to be injured, it would be any time that's not March 8th or March 11th or whatever the date is. You know?
I know. I mean, it works out for him, I guess, but
Right.
yeah, it's unfortunate for that matchup. But yeah, I mean, Bayern just, like I said, just looked a little crisper that game, and it's always going to be tough with
Fucking
PSG.
make professional players do. Take fucking sick days and like you get your sick pay cut if you miss more than like the fucking sick days that you got given. Because getting injured I'm not gonna blame this particular one on him, but like, dude,
But as a whole, yeah, it kind of like
you
it
can't get
adds
hurt
up.
every year for 5 seasons straight. That's
That's
just
part of the issue with switching sports for a second, but the Nets with Kyrie Irving, like they wanted a clause in his contract that he was going to play so many games per season, and he didn't want to, amongst other issues that he had
like,
there. But
dude, I I argue with PSG fans all fucking day, and I'll like go on spaces on Twitter and like listen to like people talk. It's like even today, he scored a goal. I think he assisted Mbappe on his goal as well, but he went out injured. And you know what the number one conversation was? Not the goal or the assist today. It was his injury record because
yeah,
people are fucking tired of him only having played half of the games that Mbappe played, and they've been there the same exact time, dude. The
right.
same exact time, and he's played half the games.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's just it adds up, like I said. If I mean, you can't really help any individual specific injury, but as a big picture, all the games you've missed, it's just, I mean, you have to be available at some point.
They say it's a lot to be said about like also like life hygiene. People say like he's been getting like complaints from his neighbors about like parties late at night and stuff like that. And it's kind of shitty to talk crap about a dude that's injured right now. I'm sure he's hating the fact that he's hurt, but like at one point you kind of have to decide like whether the party's more exciting or the game. And when you're 30, 31, I bet you only have what 5 more seasons at the top. Why don't you
Right.
enjoy the seasons now and then reap the rewards after? Party all you want from 35 up. Ronaldinho's having a great time, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
Even he started too early to party.
Yeah, I mean, it gets
yeah.
the best of you, man. You
Yeah.
come from, a place like that in Brazil, and then you make it big over in Europe. It's just living their best life. I can't say I do it any different.
You know what? I don't buy that because I think there's guys like, and granted, there's very few that are like god level in terms of like
Right.
playing ability, but like someone like Martinelli, someone like Gabi Jesus,
Sure. No,
they're
you're
up
right.
in Brazil. They've had like struggles, but you can
Yeah.
tell, dude, they're fucking hungry to do.
Yeah, it
As
affects people think
Casemiro is
differently. It's
Brazilian,
crazy.
Danny Alves.
Danny Alves.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
mean,
even
Danny
Thiago
Alves,
Silva, I mean, shoot, he's the
but
most
there are
professional guy in
Brazilians that
Chelsea's
like
squad.
Yeah.
have the ethic to work hard. Kaká, I'm
Right.
sure, like if it wasn't for his injuries, he was a hard worker. His heyday in Milan, like the guy was just when he wasn't hurt, he was giving his 100 for the team. So there's
Absolutely.
different levels. There's also the Robinho side where like or Adriano where like they were feasting and getting hurt. But I think for Neymar, I don't know if he's already decided he's not going to win a Ballon d'Or and he's not gonna like that's it for his legacy. Was his Barca days, was his heyday, and he's kind of happy with it. But if I was, and maybe he didn't think Mbappe was ever gonna like be the player that he ended up being. He thought it was gonna be his team in PSG. I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah, I
For
think that
him,
blew up.
for him, and for like the team and the fans, it's been I don't know, dude. It was a first great season that was amazing. The season in COVID where they made it to the final was something else too, because like the run all the way to the final with the fans, it was kind of close. But apart from those two times, I don't think Neymar has really been a favorite in Paris. He said his favorite game ever in his life was the remontada where Barcelona beat PSG. And he was asked this as a PSG player. That's insane.
That's crazy. Is he in this Ronaldo to Juventus stage of his career right now? He's already made the United to Real Madrid move. Now he's about to go to Juventus, and next year he'll be back at some other club. And I hope
Yeah.
not. I hope he hope he continues to play for a long time. He's obviously a really good guy player.
But the thing is, Ronaldo was like a killer at Man U, and then when he went to Real, you didn't think, okay, Man U was his peak. As great as Man U was, you didn't think that was his peak. He just went above and beyond,
right.
and like
Yeah.
it was only maybe last year that we saw Ronaldo drop off, and he was what 36 at that point.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Neymar
true.
was
Neymar's a lot younger.
You still feel like he's got another few seasons under his belt.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Hopefully.
Neymar is going to have to figure out his priorities because there was also some other rumors that his diet and his sleep, he was not taking a priority, and I feel like the fans got wind of him eating like junk food and your manager's name, I forget who it was, but Galtier had some words with Neymar like, look, man, like you're the professional here. I'm not going to tell you how to be a professional, but like your lifestyle choices are leaking out into the media, and the fans don't appreciate that. And now, unfortunately, he's injured, and it just makes you wonder if some of the lifestyle choices he's making are leading to these consistent injuries. We're speculating here. You just hate to see it happen to him because he loves to play soccer so much, but
but I wonder if he regretted going to Paris and it ended up becoming a paycheck for him. Like if you hate where you are, sometimes you're not going to give 100%. And it might have been that was the only team that was going to get him out of Barcelona, and at the time he hated his time there. So if he never liked the team, like I can't blame him for that. But like he has to understand why the fans are pissed. Like they're like, dude, you are supposed to be our shining light, and every time we're playing Real Madrid in the round of 16, you're not there. Like,
that's right. So this game, going back to Bayern.
Ooh, Pavard's out for the next one.
And that's right, Pavard's out, and I think...
Shucks, you have to play Juan Cancelo now, and Alphonso Davies. Must be tough.
God.
It must suck.
The agony.
Feed on the bench.
Want to be a timely move for him.
They had Davies on the bench.
Shucks, tough.
That's fucking disgusting.
Not to mention, their center backs, didn't they get
the leg to Upamecano?
Like they're loaded, man. They're absolutely loaded. But this should be fun. I thought PSG should have at least drawn this game at the end. Bayern was only up 1-0. Yeah. Those last 20 minutes, man, they were in there. They were threatening. I'm surprised they weren't able to pull it out. But all they need is one goal, and they're back in it. So
it does give me faith, but
easily, this is not shutting done. We
just can't lose any more players between now and that day, and you could very easily see fucking Verratti pulling something.
We only lose your coach.
No.
No, he's sticking around.
Definitely. Yeah.
What do you think about Tommy Tuchel going back?
He's only delaying the inevitable. I don't think this guy's gonna coach PSG for 2 seasons.
No.
I think they got him because they couldn't get a higher status kind of guy the past summer. I think they're still hoping that they can land someone like Zidane. I think I've heard the rumor being Mourinho back up. And if you get either one of those guys, you don't keep this fucking dude. I mean, the guy said you have to know how to lose the other day. He was like, you have to know how to lose against Marseille, the arch rival. So like, and he's from the fucking place. So
that's tough.
I think he's probably not you know how they say the fucking suit's too big for the guy? Yeah, that's him. The job is too big.
Yeah, I think similar situation with Potter.
I was just going to say, just like Potter, dude. I think the job is just too big for the guy.
Yeah, those are tough jobs, man. Expectations are high. There's no time for development.
Not to mention your job your role at that position is man management. And if you've never worked with players of that caliber before, you're learning on the job. You're literally learning how to be that man manager. So
I'm sorry.
No, that was just until you find someone. Go ahead.
I was going to say I saw one of Thomas Tuchel's assistants just did a radio interview recently where he's talking about when they went from Dortmund to PSG, and like the difference was going from trying to be tactical heavy in trainings and stuff to just man management being the toughest part of the job and having to manage players of that talent and that famous and that big of personality and egos on a weekly basis. He said that was by far the toughest part of the job. They had to reevaluate how they coached as a coaching team and how they would deliver their message. And like they said things, it's tough watching film and calling people out in film practice. He was saying stuff like that, talking about it. So they had to find ways where they could really get their message across without hurting feelings and hurting egos. And he just said it was a completely different job. And so he was just saying how it set him up well at Chelsea for that. But obviously things didn't work out there too long term.
No, go ahead, Twally.
I was gonna say, you guys are gonna have to decide if you're gonna keep Potter for next season or get someone else, because between Nkunku and what's the name, Malo Gusto, and a bunch of the other guys you haven't coming in the summer, and all the buys you just made now, you need someone that's gonna get the whole summer to like work out through his system and who like his starters are gonna be before you start next season. If you're gonna fire Potter, you need to decide that before, I think, the end of the season.
Absolutely.
Right, yeah.
Get the next guy in and get him to work on his system, figure that out. Figure out if you're going to keep Lukaku, what's going to happen with Werner, all that bullshit, and just get it settled.
Yeah, old Hansi Flick's been hanging around at a couple of games lately. He says it's just there to watch Kai Havertz, but I don't know.
I think you got to get rid of Kai Havertz, too.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope Bayern comes in and buys him or somebody from the Bundesliga.
He's like a 10.5 that sucks at being a 10 and sucks at being a 9. I don't understand what he's supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, he's still young, so I think he can have a decent career, but it's just not happening here at this time.
Yeah. While we got you on the show, Matt, what better way to use you than to talk about your boys, Chelsea and Borussia Dortmund? Give us your thoughts on this one.
That was a tough one. I mean, I thought Chelsea looked good for most of the game. I thought they created chances, but the same story as always, the lack of finishing. João Felix had a few big chances, put one off the post, missed a couple other ones, and it was just tough. I mean, you can't win games without scoring any goals, and they went a big goose egg over the weekend versus Southampton as well. So the scoring record is not looking great right now, and they obviously, have paid a lot of money for a lot of big players, and a lot of those are attackers. You have Mudryk right there, who he was sick last week. I thought, by this game, he would have been ready to go. He got subbed off to who did they play a couple weeks ago? Fulham, one of the Premier League games. After he was, and he had to come off at halftime because he was sick, and I don't know if he's still feeling ill or still trying to catch back up and get back in shape, but he really wasn't heavily utilized. But yeah, I mean, Dortmund scored on that one counter, which how do you say your boy's name from Dortmund that scored?
Oh,
Adeyemi?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a
Adeyemi. Yeah, he is fast as hell, and he just put the burners on. Chelsea left one person back to mark on a free kick. It was Enzo, and he just put a heavy touch on Enzo around a Kepa and tapped it right in. But
you guys need a 9 bad.
They do. I mean, we ruin them, and that's where strikers' careers go to die. But I would pay Napoli any money they want for Victor Osimhen.
That's definitely the move I would want.
I think it's going to be I see Steven, I think, just logged on. I know United's going to be after him pretty heavily, too, and Napoli are tough negotiators. But, yeah, I think that'd be the ideal.
They're going to ask for like 100 at least.
I'm thinking like 120. I mean, the way I think everybody's taxing Chelsea.
Todd Bowley, $100 million is like $20, so he's like
right.
When and where.
Yeah, I think it's going to be at least 120, if not more. But we'll see. That's the dream for me, at least. I've seen Vlahovic mentioned, because everything going on with Juventus, he's kind of rumored to be. Well, Steven, we're going to have issues with that statement, brother. So United wants him pretty badly too, and he'd be a great fit there. He'd be an excellent fit there. But Vlahovic is it's being rumored that he wants to go back. Well, not go back, but try out the Premier League, and everything at Juventus is not working out. Obviously,
I tell you what,
I think those would be a couple of guys in the move.
Vlahovic is going to Arsenal. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he'll turn y'all down again if y'all go after him. I know last time he did, and it hasn't worked out for him.
Dude, we have needed something like him. Like, we need something tall, fast, and powerful that can finish goals. Because Eddie Nketiah is not it.
Yeah, Steven saying Vlahovic has been rumored to like by Eric Ten Hag. It might be another summer of Lukaku and Morata again, where Morata spray painted his head red, thinking he was going to United, ended up going to Chelsea because Lukaku was thought to have been going back to Chelsea at the time and went to United instead. And they kind of swapped there. So I
Morata
think
cannot handle the EPL pressure.
no
I'm
man,
sorry.
he's fragile. He was
There's, I
really
mean,
mentally weak.
there's definitely guys in the EPL that are like do a move. Like I think Ivan Toney is a guy that could go somewhere if he doesn't
Yeah, I
elevate.
mean that if we couldn't get Osimhen, I wanted him, but I mean I don't know what's going on with his gambling charges. What's going to happen with that?
Probably brush it under the carpet.
I mean, if he
Typical.
missed half a season, I would still go ahead and spend money on him to get him from Brentford. I know they're going to obviously want a lot for him, but I mean, if they're giving him like a 2-3 year ban, then I'd probably
Y'all got bully money, dude. You don't have to worry about that
yeah.
anymore.
But missing Champions League this year, it makes that tougher. I think they're going to. I mean, there's a lot of reporting right now about Mason Mount's contract. He's going into his last year, starting this summer, and they haven't been able to extend him. And there's reports of Liverpool being interested, and
The
is
tough thing for you guys is gonna have to be just cutting the weight of like
yeah, it's tough.
contract
Yeah,
for players. Yeah. Like players that you're not gonna play. Like it was a smart move getting rid of Jorginho because you knew you stacked the midfield with like all the guys you just brought in. But there's a lot more dead weight that you're gonna have to get rid of between now and the end of the summer.
yeah, they really, I think, screwed themselves with the Ziyech deal, but that was kind of a weird story with PSG.
It's gonna be interesting to see
Yeah, I
what
don't know what
happens
was up.
because I mean Pulisic I think is absolutely gone. Ziyech is gone.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of players that for sure are leaving this summer.
Pulisic to Leeds.
What's that?
I think Milan. I
Pulisic
mean,
to Leeds.
Pulisic to Leeds only if Leeds can stay in the EPL.
Well, they're not gonna build Team America just to fucking get relegated to the championship, are they?
I mean, it's in their hands right now. If they want to stay in the EPL, they got to start winning
did they
some
beat
games.
Everton this weekend?
I can look for you. I didn't.
No, they lost 1-0 to Everton because I saw somebody tweet about like Tyler Adams and McKennie getting in fights again, and they were like, "That's great that they can fight."
Oh
But
yeah,
can they
no, I heard
actually
they've been
beat?
scrapping.
Yeah, but like they're like, can they actually win any games because they just lost to Everton 1-0?
They did not win. They lost.
Yeah, that's tough. You gotta.
Very tough.
Hey Gonzo, I see you're following us on Twitch. If you want to get in here, share your thoughts. I sent that link to that group chat. He just dropped a message. Chelsea's in the same position that United was in over the past few years, spending crap ton of money and not getting rid of the dead wood. Also,
Yeah, I mean that's really flipped United's fortunes, getting rid of some of their older guys, and obviously Ronaldo. But go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, like that's spot on. The results are the big thing. We're now seeing Chelsea kind of slide down the table, and Man United is up in the top three right now. It's been really wild to watch this flip.
But you see the difference in the two teams is one has a coach that they're like went after actively, and then once they got their man, they're like, okay, who do you need? And he was
Right.
like, bam, 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 and they got them. Now, what it feels like for Chelsea is you got a coach who's not really like to the caliber of the team, but you have an owner that's like happy to spend the money. So now you're like stacking players and you don't know when you're gonna get rid of this coach, which is I bet is gonna happen within a season, honestly. Like I don't think this man is lasting that long.
No.
If he
Yeah.
doesn't make top 10 at the very least for this season, like I think he's getting the door. And then you're gonna end up with another coach that has like 20 players that were just brought in with huge fucking 8-year contracts that he doesn't want, or he might not want, or he might only want like half of the
Right.
guys. So
Yeah.
that's the problem. They should have got the man first and then built the team that he wanted. That's the way you fucking do it. That's the way United's been doing it this season. And it's bearing fruits. You can tell, dude. Fucking Rashford went from being with Solskjaer and being on the bench to being the most consistent guy in the EPL right now.
Doesn't it feel like 2 years ago that Turtle was sharing that meme that United's goal of the month, if they didn't score, would be no goal or whatever?
Yeah,
And
dude, I
Steven
remember
told
that.
him something about posting that so many times. It feels like that was like 2 years ago at this point, but that was a few months ago.
That was recent. That was very recent.
That was this season, yeah. They almost went a whole month without scoring, and like you said, Rashford is freaking on fire now.
Oh my god,
unreal turnaround. I've never seen a player turn around like that. I mean, we knew he had it in him. We've all been kind of waiting. I was telling Twilight this. We've all been kind of waiting for Rashford to hit this ceiling, or not ceiling,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
hit this level of play. And I mean, he's doing it. I watched him score today. He had so much composure and confidence, and like you could see that it all
was
just
confident. That's pure confidence.
The world
Dude,
slowed down. It was amazing.
We don't realize sometimes how, like, I mean, I get his take right here about like Ronaldo hindering Rashford. He definitely was stepping on his toes. But
Yeah,
we
I don't even think that's a hot take.
No, well,
how like
kind of. I would say that's hot, but that's me, right? So,
but we also don't get how like these guys that like are brought in when they're like 17, 18, how much pressure is on their shoulders. Like you think a guy like Ronaldo, a guy like Rooney thrived under it, but like how many more were brought in when they were 17, were hot right from the gate and then crumbled. Anthony Martial at Man U was exactly the same. He came in at like as a hot 18-year-old from Monaco for a big ass fee, and I think the pressure ended up being too much. He had a great first season and then fell under the shadow of someone else, and then your confidence is shot. So for like Rashford dealing with injuries, dealing with like the shadow of other players, for him to finally be coming on his own, it couldn't have happened to a better player at a better time.
For sure. Also, you said Anthony Martial. I think also the Brazilian Anthony from Ajax had a fire-hot season over at Ajax and has really not filled into that 100 mil price tag that he was worth. It's I'm hoping that
not worth.
Well, we'll see. I mean, over at Ajax, the way he was playing, he was a 100 mil type of player. He was the amount of goals he was scoring, the assists. He was on fire, and he was doing it in Champions League as well. But
I do have to say, United have been very good these past few seasons at overpaying for people, dude.
Yeah.
Think of Lukaku, think of Pogba, think of who else did they just buy for a ridiculous amount of money? I feel like they're very
Harry
good.
Maguire, can't forget him.
Harry Maguire.
There we go.
That's the other one. Yeah, that's right. The most expensive center back ever, I think, is the
to ride
was
the bench.
until Wesley Fofana.
Oh right, yes, Fofana. Can't forget about him.
Oh no, yeah, because Chelsea got that money now. They got that money.
Old slab head, as Gonzo would say. So Matt, looking at this Dortmund and Chelsea game, were you nervous about this game, like as you're watching it, or were you just sitting there?
Absolutely, yeah. Because we talked about it. And I mean, that's a tough place to play with the yellow wall. I mean, tough atmosphere, Champions League, round of 16 knockout game. I mean, it's a tough environment to play in, and they're in great form. So, I mean, if we could have came away with a draw, that would have been a really, really great result, I think, for Chelsea. Even the 1-0 is not the end of the world. You go back to Stamford Bridge and you hope for a miracle, I guess. But you have the players to pull off that type of 2-0 result if everybody's firing and get a little luck on your side. Crazy things have happened.
For sure.
So we'll see what they can do next round. Nice little break, huh? I think 2 weeks.
March 8th, I think, is when it kicks back off again. Let's see. Check for you.
Yeah, it's the 8th for us. I think we said the 7th for.
Oh, no, this is, March 6th to the 12th.
7th, yeah.
7th, 8th, yeah, and then 14, 15.
You guys have the advantage of playing the next leg at home. You know, it's always always something else to have your home crowd there. I mean, it's just going to have to be, you're out of the running for the EPL, so they're just going to have to
put all eggs in this basket. That's why, you had to register Yao Felix, and you had to register Mudryk, and they had to register.
I was surprised you didn't put Badiashile in because he's been.
Yeah, no, that was the one I really missed out. That I thought they could really use for this round. But Koulibaly actually kind of redeemed himself a little bit that game. He looked pretty decent. He's got some Champions League and European experience. So
for sure.
I think the game's a little bit more slowed down and probably a little bit more of his pace and his expertise.
If everyone is healthy, this team is deep.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. That's what I said. They have a team to pull off a 2-0 type of victory at home. So,
hey, Matt, how do you like having this formation? Did Loftus-Cheek and Enzo Fernandez, did they play well together in that double pivot with Joao Felix ahead of him? How did this work? I didn't get to watch.
I like Loftus-Cheek, and I mean, I don't know. I would rather a better option there if Denis Zakaria was healthy. He was hurt, and Kovacic has just come back from injury. He played in the Premier League over the weekend, but he didn't come in that game. But it was okay. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is really direct player, and he dribbles well, and he can take a defender on 1v1, and obviously being big, he's pretty decent in the air. So I like him as that option next to Enzo, but I think that's definitely a spot they need to upgrade. If there's, any more holes besides striker in the squad, it's probably that second holding midfielder with Enzo. Give him a real partner there.
If you can get like Conte back next to,
Yeah, that'd be great, man. He's apparently has been training.
So I'm looking at the stats from today's game, Matt, and I didn't get to watch it, but Chelsea had 17 shots and 60% of possession, but still lost. What the fuck happened here?
I mean, they just can't put any quality shots on target. They had a couple that were decent looks, but
Five on target.
Striker, it really is. I mean, the new kid David Datro Fofana played pretty decently.
He's trying some stuff.
Yeah, he's a physical player, and he's confident, and he goes forward. But I mean, just don't see. We talked about it last episode why Aubameyang's not getting more of a shot. They claim nothing's happened. There's no dust up, and he's the most accomplished striker you have on the roster. I mean, he's not in his prime, but he was playing well for Barcelona when he left there. And I mean, like I said, you really don't have many other striker options on the squad. I just don't get why he's been completely frozen out.
Looks like Sterling has also lost his spot on the starting lineup as well.
He just came back from injury, but he looked good coming on, Sterling. He had a shot, an attempt that was cleared off the goal line, but one of their center backs that really felt like that was going to be a goal. Didn't work out. But he looked good coming on, and Kai came on as a sub and looked pretty good with Sterling. They paired up well together, I will say. But
what about Noni Madueke? Yeah, what about him?
I like him. He's left-footer, plays right wing, and he cuts inside a lot. That's his big go-to move, a little Antony-ish or even Hakeem Ziyech, where they're really dominant on the left foot. But he's a pretty dangerous, quick player. The opportunities he had to start, he definitely looks winded by like the 60th minute. So I think he's still trying to find his physical fitness for the Premier League. But I like him. He's a lot of promise. English kid. He's pretty young. What, he's 20? Yeah.
20.
He's 20, and he's really talented, man. I think he has a bright future, so I'm excited for him. It's going to be him and Sterling sharing duty on the right wing, but I think he'll be a great end of the game sub while Sterling probably starts the next few games if he's healthy.
Yeah, that was one of my biggest criticisms of Noni Madueke is that he has been struggling with injuries.
Yeah.
Out for 18 games for PSV, which has been...
if he wasn't hurt so much, he would have went for a lot more, but he's really talented, man, really creative. He can do a lot of things. He's dangerous.
Yeah.
Good thing you guys are triple stacked on every position, huh?
Yeah, pretty much, man, except striker and, like I said, midfielder.
Goalkeeper, pretty much.
Goalkeeper's been decent. I won't give him too much blame. I'm still not my favorite, and he's still completely overpriced, but he's decent. He's been, like, his save percentage, at least statistically wise, he's been top in Europe this season, surprisingly.
Yeah. So real quick, let's go just talk about this last game. We're not going to really break down this one too much, but Benfica beat Club Brugge 2-0. Goals by João Mario and David Neres. Now, what I really want to do is I want to get y'all's opinions on these next 4 games, which is on my favorite day. Champions League on Mardi Gras Tuesday is probably one of my favorite days in the entire world because you are off of work and you're getting paid to watch Champions League. Can't ask for a better day of the week. So really quick, let's start off with Mardi Gras' 2 games. We've got Liverpool versus Real Madrid and Eintracht Frankfurt versus Napoli. We'll start with Twali. Twali, give us your predictions for these 2 games.
Madrid has been looking a lot better than Liverpool recently, so I think that kind of decides itself. And the thing is, I think that Liverpool, as of the past 2 games in the EPL, have just started to click. So they could just be coming on form right at the perfect time to play these guys, especially when you're showing up the injury report and there's some key players that seem to be missing from Real Madrid.
Doubtful.
But I would still give the slight edge to Real Madrid.
Yeah, I would agree. Matt, what do you think?
It's a little bit closer than I probably would have said a week ago, just because, like Fabrice said, they won their last 2 games. They beat Newcastle this weekend pretty handily. It was 2-0, but they kind of dominated the game. And I mean, Newcastle went down to 10 people. Nick Pope committed a stupid foul. But for this game, I think I'll go ahead with Real Madrid. I think it'll be a close one. I mean, Real Madrid, like I said, starting to find their form a little bit. Darwin Nunez is looking pretty lively up top. No
Yeah,
Benzema for Madrid. But I still think they pull it out. They have too much depth, too much quality, experience. I mean, not that Liverpool doesn't. They just don't have the depth. They have the experience. They just don't have the depth that
and
that
it's
Real
not
Madrid does.
and it's not the scary Liverpool from like last season or a couple of seasons ago. Look at their
No, they're
midfield. I
beatable.
don't
Yeah,
even
they're
know who
old.
Bacic is.
A
Um,
young
you
kid.
know, they're trying to figure out who their front three is. Sometimes it's Gakpo and Salah and Nunez. Sometimes it's Firmino. They're kind of like tinkering. Whereas I feel like Real, if they have their 11 guys, they know who's going in. And there have been some kind of sketchy moments at the back line for Liverpool. So I think that's why I put the slight edge. And last season, we saw the Madrid that wasn't 100% beating teams, coming back crazy against all kind of people. So I don't know that this Liverpool can really take on Madrid. Like
Dude,
it might be a little closer game because they're kind of coming back on form. But
My
yeah,
one counterpoint would be that I believe this is in Liverpool to start, and it's just difficult to play at the cop or clop at the cop.
Cop.
It's difficult to play there. They went for a while where they hadn't lost a single game, and I believe Inter snapped that streak last year, and this year they've, like you guys have both said, they're totally beatable. But man, playing at home just gives you that little bit of boost sometimes that you need. But to totally agree with you guys, this team just doesn't have the depth, right? We're looking at this injury list. Ferland Mendy is out. Who do they bring in? Fucking Alaba, great player. Tony Cruz is potentially out. You have Modric, Kamavinga. You've also got Chouameni, who's doubtful, but he could play. This
You drop Valverde in the midfield
Thank
if you
you.
have to.
That's who I was thinking about. The other one, Valverde. You drop him in, and then Benzema. Benzema's probably the only one that they can't replace player for player, but they've started to slide Rodrigo in there, and Rodrigo has had a ton of success. Here we go. Oh,
Question
and
for
look at
you.
this. Gonzo's bringing up a great point. Kamavinga has been playing lights out at Leonard left back. We saw it.
Question for you.
Yes.
Vinicius versus Alexander Arnold. How do you see that one playing out?
I
Let's
think
see.
Vinicius wins that only because Alexander Arnold tends to get caught out of position because he's such an attack-minded outside back.
I
Gonzo is
think he
saying,
attacks him.
yeah,
I think that's a game plan. I think they're going to game plan for Vinicius to attack that right hand side of the defense.
You would absolutely overload that side. Look, I don't know who Bazitic is, but like it seems like an inexperienced guy. You overload that side. I honestly think there's some plenty of opportunities there.
Yeah, he's young. He's 18. But yeah, they just re-signed him, and I believe, but he's been playing for him a little bit as of recent. But yeah, you put him on the same side as Alexander Arnold against Vinicius Jr. It's barbecue chicken.
And then the backup, if Alexander Arnold's not playing, is James Milner. You don't want James Milner going against Vinicius.
Hell no.
no, that is a favorable matchup for Real Madrid. And going back to what we were saying earlier about managers, Ancelotti is one of the best man managers in soccer right now. And you can see that this team,
Coach.
yeah, they just totally respect him as a coach and as a player. This back line I'm looking at is got so much experience and strength and speed. It's just this is going to be a really fun matchup to see.
That'll be a good.
Twally, I've got a question for you: Salah or Alaba?
You said Salah or Alaba?
Yeah.
I think Alaba's got a better chance of between him and Rudiger of slowing down Salah than the opposite.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. This one's going to be very interesting. I'm going to put this one on full fucking blast on Mardi Gras Day, and I don't give a fuck what my family thinks. They always give me shit every year. Come hang out with the family. Okay, I'm going to hang out with the family, but this game's going to be on loud.
And I'll make a comment just on to follow up on that one that I think I picked up from watching Arsenal is when you have a team that's going to over rely on a few guys, take in this case Salah for Liverpool.
Yeah.
And you have Real Madrid that, like, I would say their whole back line right now looks better than all of Liverpool's back line. You would absolutely double the main guy. So I would, if I was them, I would move Camavinga on the left and have him and Alaba and Rudiger just triple team Salah. And who's the other outlet? Gakpo hasn't been clutch enough for that.
No.
Firmino has been riding the bench half the time. So I think the answer for Real Madrid, they already know what they have to do. I think Ancelotti is more than smart enough to like figure that out. He's shut out Man City before, and they're a scarier team than Liverpool is. So,
Truth.
Sorry to shit on teams or people that like Liverpool. I know my brother's a big Liverpool fan. Sorry, brother, but shit, it's not looking good.
Fabrice, we've got a random comment from Steve Gonzalez's wife. She said she went to school with you and graduated together. There's the comment.
Okay.
I don't know what his wife's name is, but Lainey Landry.
Yes, I went to school with Lainey.
Okay.
Yeah, a long time ago. Wow. Crazy.
Blast from the past. That's Gonzo's wife and mother of his children.
Nice. Wow. Congrats.
Yeah. I think they've got 3 kids.
Nice to hear from you.
I think they've got 3 kids right now.
Damn. Okay.
Small
Bunch of United fans?
Yes, born into it, unfortunately. 2 kids.
Sorry. Sorry, Gonzo. Good hearing from you guys.
Yeah, cool. All right, Gonzo, who you got for Real Madrid versus Liverpool? Drum roll, please. Come on, mate. Madrid, Liverpool Stocks.
There we go.
All right, it's settled. All 4 around. I think Liverpool could pull off a draw at home, but it's most likely going to be a victory for Real Madrid. This next one is going to be a ton of fun as well because I don't see this home team holding much. This is Napoli versus Eintracht Frankfurt. Napoli are on just blazing hot form right now, just dominating Serie A. I got Napoli like 2 or 3-0. This is just no one can handle this.
Eintracht Frankfurt won the didn't they win the Europa?
They did. They did win Europa. Yeah.
And they have Kolo Muani.
I love Muani, bro. I love me some Kolo.
Kolo Muani, he is awesome.
But I don't see past this armada that Napoli has, dude. Like between Kravash and Osimhen and Zielinski, that.
You know who doesn't get enough credit on this team is Anguissa. I really like his game. I watched him play against somebody. He's like a big, tall, towering center defensive mid that's got quality technique. He kind of reminds me of like a Sergei Milinkovic-Savic or like a Yaya Toure type of just like big technical beast. Like he is fun to watch.
They went ham on Juve this season, dude. I know you saw that one.
Yeah.
That was rough.
He's also got long hair. I love a player that rocks long hair in the soccer field. So that's one thing that I definitely add as like a checkbox for players. You know, if you got the confidence to rock the long hair. Another shout out that I want to give Napoli here is Min Jae, who has filled in beautifully for fucking Koulibaly. I mean, you can't ask for a player to fill in better for such a staple of a player as Koulibaly was for Napoli. I'm just absolutely impressed with what Spalletti has done with this Napoli team. It's incredible. I'm here for it. I don't give a shit if they win the rest of the games and break all these records in Serie A. They are so much fun to watch. That's all I care about. Do you play good soccer? I'm watching. I'm going to be a fan. Beat us. I don't care. I honestly I just want to watch good soccer, man. It's so fun to watch them play. Kvaradinho. Can't forget about Kvaratskhelia. That kid is just a firecracker, like a spark on the field, man. He just is unstoppable. And I had a buddy actually say something really funny. Take a look at his shin guards and socks.
Seriously, there is something to be said about those dudes that play with the low socks and shin guards.
Dude. Oh,
there's something about them dudes. Jack Grealish for the longest time was kind of like holding that crowd down. Yeah. But like, if you ever see someone that was like the low socks and low shin guards, you know they got the sauce, dude. Yeah. They get kicked all of the time.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, and Gonzo's saying he's got him on his So Rare squad. I am super jealous. I tell you what, if we go and look at So Rare at his price, he is a fucking pretty penny to go and pick up right now. I don't even know.
You think he? Well, I mean, Napoli is the hardest team to trade with, but you think he gets sold this summer? I think Osimhen's got a better shot of being sold.
Yeah, because this is difficult.
I think they hold on to him.
Really?
I think they give him a pay raise and resign him. Yeah, I don't know. His price is going to be really high.
Yeah,
we'll see. I mean,
they're not going to want to lose him and Osimhen.
Osimhen, I think for sure is out the window. I think Raspadori is going to be. I think they've already decided that Raspadori is going to be the one that they kind of lean on for the future. So I'm totally with you. Kvaratskhelia, this is his first year on Napoli. I think they want to hold on to him, let him grow, and his price tag will just continue to skyrocket the more he stays there because he's just got so much success. I don't know if he's ready for the EPL.
And De Laurentiis knows how to do business. He's gonna wait till this guy's like got a couple seasons with like 10 goals, 10 assists under his belt.
Until Real Madrid comes calling with 150 for him.
80 or Chelsea. 80, I mean, shit.
80 minimum.
Yeah, exactly. But he's not selling them for 60 this year. He's selling them for 150 next year.
Look at this. On May of 2022, he was 15 mil. And in a matter, what is that, like 6, 7, 8 months? Jumped up?
That's just good business.
It's good fucking business, man. 60
That's just straight up good business, dude.
Damn. How much did they buy him for? That's the next question.
Hopefully they have a sell-on
10 mil
for Napoli.
They bought him for 10 fucking mil.
Yeah, hopefully they have a sell-on clause out of the club.
That's minimum a 600% fucking profit if they sell him for 60, which is what he's valued at. But he's probably gonna be more likely 100 plus.
Yeah. They might sell him this summer. They might sell him.
Shit, River Plate got like 40 mil, I think, as part of the sell-on clause for Enzo Fernandez from Benfica, and previously, like their highest transfer was like 35 mil. It like broke that transfer record just to sell. You guys
overpaid for him too, but
he's good. Yeah, I mean it wasn't overpaid, but I think he's worth the overpay.
Because if you,
I think he's 60 max, dude. I'm not being a hater. Absolutely.
I like him. I see his quality and his uniqueness of a profile, at least to me. But
I think
there's a lot.
He would have been the 60-70 range if Argentina didn't have their run in the World Cup. That's the
right. Oh yeah, that inflated his value for sure. And
that's why I think like that inflated his fucking. And they know he has money. Gonzo's right, dude. And they know that Chelsea has the money. It's like how PSG used to be a little while back. Like they know you have the money to blow, so they're like, dude, ask him for 120. Don't budge until the very last day. He's gonna fucking.
And plus, I mean, they're still in Champions League, obviously, as we just talked about. They won the first leg. They're first in the Portuguese league. It's like they didn't want to sell him right now. So, I mean, they taxed the hell out of Chelsea, but they said, I think he's gonna be a good player.
And he's still young. Yeah, there's a lot to build on. Let's just hope he's got an accountant that's telling him that, like, you got to balance the books.
Right.
Gonzo is requesting that Boli get the Nobel Peace Prize for stimulating countries' economies with their big spending.
He is a whole country's economy, dude, at this point. Look at this guy.
It's insane. It makes no sense.
And now Man U's about to get some oil money, so...
Yeah, exactly. It's about to be an arms race. All these other clubs...
Crazy. All of the fans of teams that used to talk shit about, like, Man City or PSG or whatever, you talk shit until it's your team that's getting bought on. You're like, oh yeah, bring all that money over.
Exactly.
I like that.
Exactly. That's why I take the hate and the criticism, because if you had that type of owner, you know, relish.
It's a different life, dude. It's a different life.
There was a brief moment when I thought that AC Milan were being bought out by some oil money, and I was the fucking snobbiest AC Milan fan you ever saw. I was like, fucking Turtle, me and you, we're going to be buying everybody, man. Let's go get all the players. And then we realized that our owners don't care. They don't spend anything. So we're back to where we started. But let's keep moving on. Let's go to Wednesday. Let's get some predictions around the table. We've got,
speaking of oil money,
Inter versus FC Porto and Leipzig versus Manchester City. Matt, who you got for Inter versus Porto?
I think we're going to go Inter. I mean, they just have a little bit more quality to their squad than Porto does. I mean, Porto is always tough year after year, no matter what. But in the knockout stage, quality really kind of starts to separate the teams, the haves from the have-nots, and I think that's what ends up happening here. I believe it's at the San Siro, isn't it?
It is at San Siro to start, yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, definitely. Inter by a couple goals, 3-1 maybe.
Wally, who you got?
I got Inter as well, man. I think like in the Champions League is where kind of like squad depth shows really, and Inter has the better players in different positions. I don't know what their run has been in the Serie A, but when you think about a team, they just have more depth all around. It would be a major upset for me to see Porto beat them.
I would agree, although I do rate Porto's team. They have been on a really hot form lately, even if it is just by a goal here and there. They have one of the best young goalkeepers in the world. They've got a really good back line. People often forget that Pepe is still very much in form playing for that back line for Porto.
The grand old man.
Grand old man. And then Taremi is just he's inevitable. Mehdi Taremi, he just gets in behind teams and scores goals. I'm surprised he doesn't have a goal here. But I'm going to also go with Inter. Gonzo, what you got? Oh, he says, I'm going Porto just to give you all figurative middle finger. Great. Thanks. Oh, shit. I'll give you a finger back. There we go. All right. Who do y'all have in the, I believe it is Man City versus
RB
Leipzig. Who do y'all have there?
I'm going City. Leipzig, they did get Nkunku back this weekend. I think he had an assist off the bench. But City just obviously, like we said for the other matches, they have the quality, they have the depth. And I think with everything going on, I think they're probably going to use that as fuel and motivation, especially in these big matches. Now, whether this game counts in 3 years from now after it goes through the court systems, probably won't. But for now, I'm going to pick them to win.
Gonzo's going with RB Leipzig.
I got one question.
Go ahead, Twally.
Did Leipzig knock City out of the Champions League? Was it last year or a couple of seasons ago? Did they or no?
Feels like it.
It was. It was.
I feel like it was a season where like
it was the pandemic season because we had.
Yeah, okay, that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, because I think we ended up playing them. So.
Yeah, it was Bayern versus like Lille or Monaco, and then it was PSG versus Leipzig, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So
two German
teams,
teams.
I think City's got too much depth, so I'm gonna take them too. But if there was ever gonna be a team to upset them or for Pep to overthink against, it could be Leipzig.
Tell you what, one of my favorite players on RB Leipzig is Dominik Szoboszlai. He just oozes class all over the pitch. And they are a very rock and roll type of team.
And they have
lots of young
center back.
And the center back, Garvidal. And Willie Orban. That dude's a machine as well. Can't forget about him. They have a quality team. I agree with y'all. If there's any team to upset City, it's these guys. But fucking City, they got so much, man. They got so much. And Pep's back in the lab. Look at this, man. Pep's back in the lab with looks like a 3-2-4-1. I don't know, man. Do you think, Pep? I'm not going to challenge you. Kind of want to see how this plays out.
They still tied this weekend against a team they should have beat, though.
Yes.
Yeah, they did.
Did you see Haaland miss 2 sitters back to back?
No.
He hit the bar, and then the rebound falls to him at like 6 yards away on his left foot, and he fucking skies it. Tell me you saw that, Matt.
Yeah, I saw one of them, but I didn't see the second one.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that was a disappointment. I mean,
but the thing is about that guy is like, if he has like a stinker of a game, which I guess you kind of call it a tie against Forest is a stinker, the next game he's going to score you a hattie. So we know it's coming for Leipzig. It's not going to be good.
And Gonzo, I'm glad you're saying this. I did see this, and I wasn't sure why he stopped, but I remember it was some kind of medical procedure. Gonzo's sharing with us right now that Willie Orban broke his streak of consecutive record games to donate.
Oh, damn!
Broke his record of games started to donate stem cells to someone to save their life.
He's got good karma on his side. They're knocking out.
He's a good
Shit, I'm
player.
kind of second guessing my decision. I'm kind of thinking maybe Leipzig has the good juju on their
Guaranteed,
side.
Leipzig it is.
Yeah.
Nothing like saving
I'm
somebody's
trying to
life.
remember
Man.
when he had that shank. It might have been. It was like a double volley. First one hits the bar, and then the second one is like he just fucking. I mean, and they were great saves. Yeah, that's a
Wow, I forgot Kaylor Navas is over there.
Oh yeah.
Damn, what a fucking signing for Nottingham Forest. Go ahead. Oh, is this it? Oh, wow.
That should
You
have been a
fucking
pen,
pussy.
maybe.
My
I
God.
think that could have been a pen. That was given as a pen for PSG earlier today. But
Holland, dude. I expect better, bro.
let's see.
That
Oh,
was what you
man.
were talking about, huh?
That's exactly it.
Oh,
Look at
my
that.
God. Boom. Bruh. Oh,
Oh,
God.
got it.
Why don't you just like side foot the second one? Put it in the corner. Make sure it's down low. Goalie's not going to stretch far enough to get to that.
You got the great Kaylor Navas there, man. He's just got some luck between the sticks. I don't know what it is. I mean,
What a gift for Nottingham Forest.
God, like you don't get 4 Champions Leagues because you're just like you're okay. Like you got some luck on your side. I don't know.
And isn't the backup Dean Henderson from United? That's who.
Oh, is Dean Henderson over there?
I thought so.
Really?
I don't know.
I wouldn't doubt it, but I mean, he's never gonna start now. You don't fucking
No.
Navas is a steal,
Yeah,
dude.
he was a starter for the Sean Navas.
Wow, that's a steal. That is an effing steal. Incredible. Gonzo's sharing Dean is a bum.
I thought he was going to be pretty good that first year he had with Sheffield, but
He's a solid keeper. I feel like I've seen him do some crazy stuff.
yeah, I thought he was solid, but I haven't really watched a whole ton of Nottingham Forest.
Do they already know? Is there a draw after this? Once like the whatever team's through is through, or are they already matched up to who they're going to play in the Champions League?
That's a good question. I believe they draw again.
Draw,
I think they just keep drawing, and it's just so that they can continue to rig it.
I think they draw the final, the semis, and then they go to the final.
Yeah, they just want to make sure that they can pick the
or the quarterfinals. Sorry.
Yeah, they totally fucking rigged the picks. Like Liverpool, Real Madrid,
Right.
PSG, Bayern, like those are. I don't know, man. Those seem rigged to me. But anyway,
you got to give the people what they want.
Yeah, I mean that's a great way to get back into it, get back into Champions League, especially on Valentine's Day. Whew.
Shit.
PSG Bayern.
Yeah, it made a hell of a night for me.
Yeah. All right, fellas. I actually got to run soon, so this has been really great. We almost hit the 90 mark, which I love. I love hitting the 90 mark on the Footy Fetish show, sponsored by Total 90. So real quick, let's just go around the room, give a shout out, someone you love, someone you hate. I got a really good one. I'm going to shout out all the people in Turkey right now that are going through that earthquake. I heard the death toll has hit 35,000 people, which is just so sad to hear. And they just discovered that, I forget his first name, but a professional.
Christian Atsu
they discovered that he passed away in that earthquake. So you just hope that all those people in Turkey are getting the care that they need to make it through, because this is going to be a rough time getting back to normal life for them. So shout out to all those people in Turkey. Just got to take it one day at a time. Dwally, who's your shout out?
My shout out is going to be to one grand man in Nottingham Forest, a man named Chris Woods, for that equalizer against Man City. Can't thank him enough for that. That's been woo!
Oh my God.
Top of the league, baby.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. That's awesome. Matt, who's your shout out? Matty Stats, where you at?
Todd Boehly.
We're going to give Matt a shout out for Todd Boehly. Todd Boehly has totally transformed the spending style of Chelsea, and I know all the Chelsea fans love it. We're probably going to see another 100 or 150 mil spent in the summer, and I'm honestly here for it. I was listening back to our last podcast, and I was saying how Chelsea had been receiving a lot of hate for the amount of spending, and I said, I love it. And what I meant by that was that I'm loving seeing all of the money spent by Chelsea. It's like we're seeing FIFA career mode in real
Yeah,
life.
no, that is FIFA in real
It's
life. And
FIFA
as
career
much as
mode.
like some people hate it, it gets them talking. It's
You know what it's good
it's
for?
what you and I would fucking do if we owned a team.
Yeah, for sure. You know what it's good for? It's good for the youth. It's good for the next generation because they get excited. I get to tap into the 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12s and to see who they're following and what players they're talking about. And of course, you got Holland at Man City and Mbappe at PSG. Those are the two names that every kid, if I say name a club, those are the two names that come out of their mouth immediately. So
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if Chelsea is next on that list with all these really hot names coming out. But Twally, it was a pleasure having you on the podcast. I really appreciate you getting on here with us and sharing your insight and your perspective. Matt looks like
Of course.
he is struggling to get back in here. But Matt, thank you for getting on the podcast. Any last words, Twally?
Happy Mardi Gras to my fellows down in the boot. Hope y'all are having a great time. To PSG, I hope we can just flip it on Bayern. And to everyone, hope your team has a great end of the season. As long as it doesn't beat Arsenal in the league, I'm good with it.
All right, this has been the Footy Fetish Show, where the fetish is real and the footy is soccer. As Booty would say, peace out, Boy Scout.